Hey marketing friends, so I want to talk to a little bit today about building a vacation property rental website and the pros and cons and some best practices for doing so. And the first thing I want to show you is our client, keylimevacationrentals.com. You can just Google that. It's key-lime-vacationrentals.com if you want to go ahead and type it in. But let's talk a little bit about developing a site like this and why you might want to do it. So let's say you own a half a dozen or a dozen properties in a particular location, and you want to go ahead and be able to showcase those properties. Now, your first thought is, why wouldn't you use Airbnb or say Vrbo or any of those other online travel agencies, or OTAs as they're called? Well, the truth is you need to be on those places for the initial search. That is the very first time the client ever books with you. But after that, and in particular if you own property in a specific area, you actually want to take your existing customers off of that and have them book directly with you, because otherwise you're giving 30% of your fees back to Florida Vacation Rentals, Vrbo, or Airbnb just for the privilege of booking your property. Now, our client actually books clients in a repeat business every single year, and many of his clients repeat or they send friends to repeat at his properties. He owns 7 property vacation rentals, all on the water, all in Marathon, Florida, and a little bit more than 2/3 of the properties are all duplexes. So they offer the opportunity for large family groups or large friend groups to book in 2 different properties right next door to one another, adjoining on the waterfront. So it's really important for our client that he have a way that customers can come back year over year and can continue to book on his website without necessarily having to go to one of the OTAs. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the specifics of this website. So when we open to a big panoramic picture of Sombrero Key Beach. And this is one of the few beaches in the Florida Keys, and it happens to be located in the Marathon area. And then we scroll up into his individual properties here. And as you click through each individual property, it's worth noting that because they're duplexes, we identify one specific photo for each side of the building as the primary photo, because when people are searching for the properties, they're going to use that visual cue. Oh, that's the property I was looking at. Now, since he owns the whole duplex, it's not a huge deal, but he wants to make sure at least that he's being clear about the amenities, because sometimes the amenities do vary from side to side of that particular building that he's renting. So once you get in there, all of the stuff is above the fold. There's a little navigation bar that you can click back through, say rates and amenities and a photo gallery, and that keeps everybody above the fold as they're scrolling through the site, particularly on mobile devices. The other thing you should know is a lot of people will use multiple devices in any given day as they're looking for property. They might start out looking for property on their work computer, whether or not they're home, and they might finish on their couch with their iPad to look at those same properties. So it's really important to make sure that your site is optimized for both mobile and desktop, because that's a lot of how people are doing research these days. Now, the other thing that you should know is that we're using a booking form, but not a booking engine. And there's 2 different things that go along with that. So a booking form is a form that will collect booking information, including a little date picker and everything, but it sends the information directly to my client. A booking engine allows the customer to select dates and book and pay. Now, my client can actually still do that with this booking form, but he's not locked into making a commitment and showing the customer the dates that are available and that are not through his particular system. And that's really important, because with 7 properties in the same location, if somebody clicked on one of his properties, just randomly happened to stumble across it and clicked on the date picker and didn't see their dates available, they might leave and go to someone else's properties entirely. This way, because they go to the date picker and they select the dates and they email the client and say, hey, are these dates available? My client can say, well, they're not, but I've got the next door property, which is adjacent to this one, that you can go ahead and book because that one is available. So it keeps the booking sort of within the family, but maybe not that specific property. And those things are really important, especially when you can build up to 30% additional in your business by not using one of those online travel agencies and getting people to book year over year. In addition, this booking form is super easy to set up and customize, and we actually embedded a link so that when the client, who does most of this business via email, when the client actually emails back and forth, that link stays with that thread of email chains. So that way the customer and my client knows which property they're referring to at any given time. And we optimize the site for search for my client's name and the property addresses, because that's typically how he's found year over year, or with friends or relatives or other people actually coming to the site. So it's really important to think carefully about what kinds of things you need. You might not need a full-fledged booking engine. You might need a very simple setup like this, which actually works really well for the purpose of booking. Now, if my client wanted to, he doesn't, but if he wanted to, he could actually take a deposit right by the same form. Now we're using WordPress and we're using WP Forms Pro for these tools, and they are wonderful tools to help build what you want in a way that makes it much easier for clients to book. Now, they're still going to start at Vrbo for the very first time they meet my client, but after that, they're probably going to come to this website and my client's going to get the extra 30% that he's not giving away to Vrbo, Florida Vacation Rentals, and Airbnb. It's a great way to build your business, and it works wonderful for vacation property rental websites all over the country. So if you've got a property, this is the solution we recommend. Check it out at marketingacuity.com in our portfolio section. Drop us a comment below. We'll go ahead and answer some questions, and check out KeyLimeVacationRentals.com in the Florida Keys for Florida Vacation Rentals.